Hi, this is Eric Gecko for IMVUfreelancer.com. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use the XSF Exporter that I've written for Blender 2.6.1. This is to be used in conjunction with the XMF exporter that I released previously and should allow you to create more advanced furniture items, and by advanced I mean you'll be able to add in seating nodes, catchers, pictures, handles, all that good sort of stuff. It doesn't currently work for accessories or clothing or anything like that, animations. It's still very much in its infancy. Obviously any support, suggestions, feedback would be much appreciated. So to start with, I'm just going to quickly go over how to re-add the scripts into Blender for those that don't already have them. Basically what we're looking to do is add the exporters into this export menu. So we simply go to User Preferences, Install Add-on, go to the directory where you extracted them to, and then you can click on the XMF. If you click on the little drop down here, it tells you a little bit more information. We just tick this little box up in the corner, and then we install the other one. Same thing, save as default. And what you should now have is two new exporters down in the export list. So to start with, I've got this basic chair mesh. It wasn't actually designed for IMVU, it's not properly to scale or anything. It's UV mapped but not properly. I've literally just told it to add a skin on just so I can export it. So it's not going to look very pretty, but it's enough for our purposes. So to start with, I'm just going to export this because what's the point of having a skeleton if you don't have the mesh to go with it? So I'm going to export it as chair.xmf, and that's it, done. And you'll see we've now got chair.xmf. Okay, and now we're going to add in the skeleton. So for basic furniture, the main skeleton you want is a root node. You want a handle, which is the little dot which shows where the seats are available. You want the actual seat node itself with the animation name that will play when a person sits in there. Then you want the catcher and the pitcher, which are the two nodes which tell the avatars where to stand when interacting with another avatar. So in order to do this in Blender, we're not using traditional Blender bones, we're actually creating new meshes and exporting those as our skeletons. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new mesh. It can be any of these you want. Cubes obviously probably the simplest. You can scale it however big you want. I'm going to make it quite big. But it will actually go from sort of like the centre point. So I've already set this up to be pretty much the middle of the chair, and this is going to be the root node. So basically all we're going to do is going to go to Object and rename it to root, simple as. Okay, then I'm going to Shift D and duplicate it and move it up to about here probably, and this will be our handle. Just call it handle 01 with a capital H, and I will just point out at this stage that the names of these are very, very, very important because I just spent about 3 hours trying to figure out why this wouldn't work when it did last night, simply because I named the nodes wrong. So check and double check, and then probably triple check. If something's not working, that's probably the first place to check. Okay, so we've got a handle, we've got our root. I'm going to duplicate this again, drag it about here probably, and this is going to be our actual seating node. So I'm going to call this seat01.sitting with a capital S for sitting, and then I'm going to again duplicate it, move it forwards about here. I'm going to call this picture01.standing with a capital S. Is it a capital P? I think it is, let me check. It's a capital P and a capital C for these. Okay, so again, duplicate, move it forward a bit. I'm not entirely sure on the distances of these. I probably will at some point release a file that gives the exact distance, because otherwise it's going to look a bit weird, possibly when doing the animations. Also, this is not going to work perfectly first time, and I've deliberately filming it this way so I can show you the rotation of these as well. Assuming you're working with a default Blender layout, the nodes should be set up so they're facing forwards, so basically in the same direction as the chair itself. But what we'll do is when we get it into iMovie, I'll show you this. So that's basically all the nodes set up in about the positions I want. I'm going to hide the chair now, because basically when we export we only need the actual nodes themselves to be showing. The last thing we need to do is parent these. So basically just shift click on all of the children bones, and then lastly on the root bone, press Ctrl P, and it will bring up this little menu, set parent to object, and you'll notice you get a load of dotted lines, which signifies these have now been parented. So select the root bone, file, export, XSF, tell it where you want to put it, call it share.xsf, and there we go, done. We should now have a XMF and a XSF file, which should be enough to get this into iMovie. So let's try that. So we're going to derive a new product. We're going to use rooms and furniture. What we should end up with initially is the standard iMovie chair. So we're going to add in the mesh we exported. Deselect vertex colors, otherwise it will just turn up blank. So there's our chair mesh, and you'll notice it already has the standard chair seating node there, which obviously doesn't line up and wouldn't work for us. So if we go to config, we can add in our own XSF file, which will be chair, apply the changes, and you should find she's sitting in the chair. Now she's not perfect in the chair, but that'll be our positioning of this node here, so we can probably just move this back and down a bit. Re-export. Re-edit. And there you go, that's a little bit better. Like I said, the chair's not properly to scale, so it probably wouldn't fit properly anyway. What I'm also going to do now, and I'm crossing my fingers this will work, because this is always a bit dodgy whenever I try to do this, but we're going to add an actor into the scene, and once that loads along with the chair, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the actor into the chair, switch back to the editor, and just to show you the capture and the picture nodes, you're going to do this, and what you'll notice is immediately these are both facing the same way, which is obviously not what we want. So again, simple fix, simply select this one, we'll go into the top view, and I'm just going to rotate it by 180 degrees. And again, just export it. Reload it up. And what you should now find is they're both there. And actually the position is not that bad, well, I suppose. It's a bit off, but like I said, you can either play with that to get it right, or I'll probably at some point create a Blender file with the exact distances. But that is essentially the basic furniture node working. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. The contact details within the text file with the exporter, or alternatively through the forums or through IMVU. Thanks for watching.